6:34 TSN 690. It's Game Points with Matthew Ross. We're here to the top of the hour pre-game show for Game 7. Game 7. I just love saying Game 7. Doesn't matter what the sport is. Warriors, Cavaliers, pre-game coming up at 7. Tip-off just after 8 o'clock tonight right here on Montreal Sports Authority. Jimmy G's here, Dave Trentadui as well. Next segment, we'll talk a little bit about Game 7, but right now we are going to go to our next guest. He is a right-handed pitcher for the junior national team. He was drafted last week by the New York Mets, and most importantly, he's a Montrealer. Let us chat with William Sierra. Hey, William, how you doing?
Hey, I'm feeling great. How about you?
Very good. Thanks so much for taking the time today. Really appreciate it, and congratulations about last week.
Thank you. It means a lot.
Now, coming into this draft, were you expected to be drafted?
Well, I was talking to a couple of teams, and I was actually a little surprised that I got drafted, to be honest. I mean, I was talking to a couple of teams, but I wasn't sure that I was going to get drafted.
In terms of Montreal, whereabouts are you from?
I'm from Mercier.
Okay, yep.
Yep, I'm from Mercier.
And how long have you been playing baseball? Was this since you were a little kid, or picked it up later on? Or
I actually started when I was about 3 years old.
Wow.
I remember, my dad used to take me out to the park when I was about 3 or 4, and he would show me how to swing the bat or catch the ball or throw a baseball. And, yeah, I just started loving baseball from when I was small.
See, that's interesting, too, because you're 16, right?
Yeah, I'm 16.
So you're 16. The Expos haven't been here in 12 years, and they left when you're 4, and you grew up loving baseball without a local team here. Did that affect things at all? Were you a Blue Jay fan, or what did you do in terms of following baseball?
Well, the thing is, when I was about 6, I moved to California, and I started loving the Angels, the Los Angeles Angels, and I started watching every game. I really started to connect with baseball. I really loved it. I would play with a team from California. They were pretty good, and that just motivated me to keep going.
So then you ended up playing for Canada, though?
Yeah.
How did that come about?
Well, I was about 12. I came back. I started to live in Toronto. I was in Toronto for about a year, and that's where I started to get some eyes on me. Because I was called the California kid, because I was playing with North York in Toronto. So then after that, I moved to Montreal, and I've been playing here ever since.
In terms of the Mets, did you get a phone call? How were you notified that you were drafted?
Well, the funny thing is, I was at a game in New Jersey. So my coach, Robert Fatal from the ABC, he gathered everybody around in a circle, and out of nowhere, he just says, William Sierra got drafted by the Mets, and everybody just went crazy. It was really fun. That's how I found out.
Is there a player on the Mets that you like as a right-handed pitcher? Maybe they got a couple of good pitchers.
Yeah, Noah Syndergaard, he's really, really good. One of my favorite pitchers. Yeah.
Growing up, did you have a favorite player? I guess maybe on the Angels even?
Actually, I was a big Mariano Rivera fan. I thought he was great as a closer with that cutter, and I wanted to be just like him.
So do you see yourself one day as a starter, a closer, or what?
I prefer closing because, it's like you get a rush when it's those final innings, and you just get to throw hard, and you get to get guys out, even if it's a close game. It's just really intense, and I love that feeling.
Did you have a chance to go to any of the preseason games here in Montreal the last 3 years with the Blue Jays?
Yeah, I went to almost all of them, actually. I actually went as a bat boy when they played Boston. I was named to be bat boy for the Blue Jays, and that was really fun.
Well, we should have let off with that. I didn't know this. I had the privilege of doing the pregame and postgame shows here for TSN 690, so I was in the booth and have been for all the years. So talk to me about that. How was that experience? And were there some players on the Red Sox that you got to chat with?
It was amazing. I was bat boy for both teams actually. It's because with my team they were selling half tickets. so it can help our program.
Sure.
So then the Red Sox and the Blue Jays needed some bat boys. So one day I went with the Red Sox, and one day I went with the Blue Jays. And I talked to a couple of guys, got a couple of signatures. It was really, really fun.
Very cool. Well, hopefully that'll be a moment in 4 or 5, maybe 6 years from now that you'll think about once maybe you can get there one day. So we're chatting with William Sierra from Montreal, who was drafted by the Mets last week. Tell the folks the team that you play for right now.
I play for Academy Baseball Canada, 17 and under.
And you're a right-handed pitcher.
Yes.
What have you? I read a report that you're up to about 86 miles an hour. Is that true?
Actually, I've hit 91.
Wow.
Yeah, but that was pretty close.
Not even, but you're being generous. It's hard to get information on a 16-year-old. All right,
yeah.
Cut me some slack here. Jeez. Well, we wish you the best of luck. This is a very, very big story, and obviously we hope that you continue to represent Canada. Canada's had so many great baseball players over the years. I've had a privilege to go to the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame, to have Canadian baseball players on my show on a regular basis, and we hope that you're just another one in the line of great players that are coming out of here. Have you, in terms of Team Canada, I know you're on the junior side of things, but have you had a chance to talk to someone like Denny Boucher, who's the Team Canada pitching coach?
Yeah, he was my Tournament 12 coach, where it's a tournament in Toronto. It's the Blue Jays who actually gather the best players of Canada, so they can make a showcase to see who can make Team Canada. So yeah, he was my coach, so I got to talk to him.
All right. Any other famous Canadians you've spoken to, like a Larry Walker? Have you ever spoken to him?
No, I haven't. I've spoken to Justin Morneau. He came down with us for one of the Canadian trips in Florida.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, very, very cool. So where do you go from here? You're still in your season? When does that run till? My
season ends in October. Okay. And I'm still going to continue with the national team, so I'll be leaving for Cuba in about a week. And then in October, we have a trip down in Orlando. So, yeah, that's pretty much when my season will end.
All right. And then what happens next season? Are you back in Canada? Are you somewhere in the U.S.? How does it work?
I am not 100% sure about that. I'll just let time go with it and just see where I play next year.
All right. Well, hopefully in a few years from now, you're either in the big leagues or just about to get to the big leagues, and the Montreal Expos are back and they trade for you. How about that?
That would be awesome, actually. Yeah.
All right. Well, congratulations, William. Thank you so much for making some time for us, and best of luck the rest of the season.
Thank you for having me.
All right. There you go. That's William Sierra from the national team here in TSN 690, drafted by the New York Mets last week as a 16-year-old, and he is a guy to watch out for, having already topped 91 on the radar gun at the age of 16, and hopefully he's a guy we'll see some big things from moving forward. But how about that, huh? Bat boy for Jays and Red Sox last year?
That's pretty cool. I mean, that's something I wish I could do.
Well, you and I were on the field last year together, Dave.
That's
and
right.
Jay Farrar as well. And Jay famously tells a story about getting a picture of Big Papi looking right at him very, very angrily. And we were there. That happened. So kind of a fun deal. But yeah, it was a great time. And the only thing missing is a home team, right? When you're covering an event like that.
Hopefully soon enough, Matthew.
Oh, you sound like you're not hopeful though.
Oh, I'm very. I'm
Are
optimistic.
you? Yeah.
Very
all right.
optimistic. Very
Good.
hopeful.
Good. Jimmy, you optimistic?
I would love for baseball to come back to Montreal. Love.
That's not optimistic.
Yeah, that's
not
not optimism.
really. But I do pray.
There it is. There. You know what? Jimmy G is a contrarian in every sense of the word. It doesn't matter. You could be talking about a football game where a team is down by 10 points with 4 minutes left and they have the ball and you're excited. And Jimmy would say, well, the odds are that they're not going to come back. The onside kick, it's a very little chance you were. Thank you, Jimmy. I appreciate that. Little insight into Jimmy G.